I hate to bend over in there. He's getting a better view than y'all are. As far as regulations, thank you, Glenn. As far as regulations, the regulations are there, they just need to be enforced. As you can tell, I'm going to be me. What happened down in the Gulf is an absolute shame on the environment. I agree with a couple of the other speakers. There were regulations there that were not followed. You know, I worked computers for the government. I know that if something blows up, they're going to go back and say, okay, you didn't go through the proper procedures. That's what took place. As far as the drilling, I agree, it's national security. We have a surplus of American oil that has been hoarded and has not been allowed to be used. Why are we dependent on foreign oil when we have this surplus sitting here in our country that our government refuses to let us use? That's what we need to concentrate on. Make sure that the national security issues are covered and that we follow the current regulations. We don't need any more. We just need to enforce the regulations we have, like Arizona did with their little law that everybody's complaining about.
Next we'll go to Jeff.
Well, I agree that it is a tragedy that this has happened, but it is also a national security issue. And I believe that the free market is the place where these problems are going to be solved. And I know that the best practices after this disaster will be changed. When you mine for oil deep below this ocean, it's going to require a different approach in the future, maybe drilling 2 or 3 wells to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But there are ways to resolve this issue, and the free market is the place to do it. And this country needs to be involved in developing all of our energy sources, particularly nuclear energy, coal energy. We need to leave this to the free market. We do not need cap and trade. We need to keep the government out of this. It needs to stay in the private sector.
Next we'll go to Chuck.
Thank you. What's happened in the Gulf is a terrible, terrible situation. It is a terrible tragedy, as has been mentioned. But the true tragedy would be allowing what's happened in the Gulf to dictate our energy policy going forward. We need to continue to drill, to seek out American forms of energy, American-based energy, because the fact of the matter is we get far too much of our oil from countries that support those that want to kill us. This is a matter of national security, as has been mentioned, and it's on that basis that we should consider increasing the drilling that's done here in the United States, domestic drilling, and making sure that this incident in the Gulf, while tragic, doesn't dictate our policy.
And now Clay Cox. Not a lot to add here. Look, energy policy is something that has become way too political. The leftists will tell you that we're destroying our environment by pulling naturally occurring elements from the earth to empower our cars and drive our economy. I think it's interesting that as the glaciers receded in Greenland due to the natural global warming we just experienced, we found Viking settlements underneath and not one hubcap from an SUV. Cap and trade is a huge threat to our economy, make no mistake. But like all leftist plans and policies for the United States citizen, it is about control. And I'm concerned a great deal that someone representing this district needs to have the business experience to see nonsense when it comes across their desk, and the legislative experience to stand up to Nancy Pelosi and defeat bad policy that will kill jobs. We got to stop chasing windmills, folks, with energy policy and go with what works, with improved technology. It's safer, it's cleaner, it needs to be American.